Hello, everyone. Welcome to Friday with Dan Fan at night. At night, we're going a little bit crazy this time around. Different location. I was going to clean up the background a little bit more and move the boffer swords, but they're just so tightly packed in that corner. Kind of don't want to touch them. Otherwise, I worry that everything else might knock over. Hopefully you guys can hear me well. Let me know if you can't hear me. That would be a problem. It's the same mic that we use for the Game Fan streams. Normally I believe nobody has an issue hearing us on those streams, but on StreamYard it was showing as very low audio, so I was a little bit worried. That perhaps Mike was doing a fucky wucky and I'd have to go get a different mic. Audio's fine, that's good to hear. So welcome. You might be wondering, Dan Fan, why are you doing a late night stream? That's a little bit strange. At least on this channel, it's a little bit strange. On the Game Fans channel, we go super late at night. Too late, in fact. Late enough for me to not be mentally capable of playing games, or capable at losing at games. But we're doing late night for this one. I figured that, more people would be off work late at night and that I would be out of some people's way in the house. As part of the reason why I'm doing the stream downstairs as opposed to upstairs is because I don't want to bother anyone while they're sleeping. But here we are. Late night stream, new location in the corner, celebrating our launch of Reaper. We're doing pretty good so far, I gotta say. I mean, first day, $1,000 raised. Looking pretty good. I mean, we almost got the printing cost nailed down already. I absolutely love getting a good start. This is obviously going to be a very big campaign for me. So, a little bit nervous, but I'll do my best to make sure that we're promoting it as much as we can. It's hard to do the promotion while you're also working on it, because working on it in of itself takes a good chunk of your day, But let me check out chat and see how everybody's doing. Hey, lucky backer number 13. Heyo, a Dan Fan at night. What a strange parallel universe have I entered. I ordered a signed copy of Reaper. Looking forward to it. Number 24. Sorry I can't stay. It's alright, man. Understandable. Hey, Amanda Carey. Thank you for the $1. Yeah, what's next? Daytime Game Fans? Love to stick around, but I got errands. No problem. Yeah, with the Game Fan stream, whoever's on the couch is usually quite quiet. Yeah, we gotta jack the volume up or something, because we only have one mic. I mean, we could get 2 mics. We could put one over there and then one over here, but it'd be easier with the wiring if we could do it with one at least. Congrats on the launch, thank you. Already at 1,000, nice. We got a super sticker in the chat, very nice. Where's my 80s wood paneling? You get the pure white, still kind of woody paneling, but if there's anything I can do to help the promotion, let me know. I mean, really, the best that people can do is just recommend it to whoever you think would be interested in a dark fantasy comic. And liking, commenting, sharing, all good things, all very helpful things, because you want to exist online. And the more people talking about a thing, the more it exists, you know what I mean? I gotta say, the trailer, that was nerve-wracking, especially this morning. Basically, I put the trailer together super last minute, early in the morning. I had to rush it a little bit. So I'm actually using kind of old art. Not all of it is old art, but some of it some of it could use a little polishing. So I'll get back to doing that, of course, once I finish the first final draft, finish those inks, you know? But yeah, it was a little bit stressful. I spent a lot of time wondering what I was gonna do for the Reaper trailer, and then I finally kind of decided on something. I actually commissioned a song to play during the Reaper trailer, but I ended up not going with that song because I thought it sounded too relaxed, you know? And maybe something more intense or spooky or epic would sound better for the trailer. So what you're actually hearing in the trailer, and this is a little bit funny, but it's a Skyrim cover. I had permission to use it. It won't be, I don't think it'll be like a monetized video or anything, but none of my videos are monetized on the Burning Star channel anyway. So there's that. But I do still have the song that I actually like wrote and commissioned from one of those bardcore people. So maybe I could upload that as a separate video since I didn't use it for the trailer. Although my singing is not that great. I wish I had gotten another singer to do the song for me. Because I'm not good. I'm not a good singer. Any qualms on that whack worka thing in Glasgow? I'm gonna have to look up what you're asking because I am so confused. What happened? What actually happened? Whack worka? You need to be more specific. If you're talking about something that was in the news, chances are I don't know about it because I have not been watching the news. Wonka. Oh, you mean the Willy Wonka land? The Willy Wonka event in Scotland. No thoughts on that. I did actually see people posting about that. I actually kind of do know what you mean. But I didn't look any further than the titles of the videos when it came to the Willy Wonka experience. That was like the Tim Burton one, right? It wasn't even like... Yeah, it's fucking... Whack Wonka. I had no idea what you meant. but yeah, I don't really have many thoughts on that. It did look pretty creepy from what I did see. But yeah. You should have seen the script. It was bananas. I guess I gotta look into it then. I got a few ideas for new videos. Obviously, I'm gonna have to do another DCYA read-through. You know I have to do it. Sad as it is, you know I have to do them. I have to read through all the DCYAs so that I can become stronger from the experiences. But I also picked up some other interesting books that I want to do videos on. And, yeah. There was a third thing I was going to bring up, but I forgot it. So, we'll move past that. Oh, I wanted to talk about that translator guy that got fired from Funimation. That was insane. What was wrong with that guy? Why was he saying that? It's so fucking crazy. I just learned about it recently, but it's like week-old news, really. But yeah, I gotta make a video about that. That was nuts. It was a very mask-off experience with how they just went ranting about basically how they hate, yeah, the lovely complex guy, that guy, yes, exactly. basically how they hate anime fans. It's like, why is this company even hiring people that hate the material so much? I mean, so much that it actually affects their work, that they actually, like, won't translate it properly. But, you know, it's, the company itself was encouraging changes, so yeah, that was insane. That was really, he was completely unhinged in a lot of his comments. Yeah. Anyway, I guess we shouldn't get too down in the dumps talking about that, because I want to make a separate video about that. Today we're celebrating because we launched Reaper Book 1, The Cursed Castle, my own, hopefully, series going forward. Hopefully, you know. I'm pretty excited about this one. I hope you guys are also excited to get your books. Yeah? Uh-oh, sick shot. But there's a lot of fun things I can also kind of talk about and show you that we're doing a little bit different with this campaign that we haven't done before. Obviously, we have like the addition of 2 new tiers that we haven't really put up on campaigns before, and it's something that I talked about before when it comes to getting figures, right? So I actually commissioned a 3D model guy to do a Siddharth statue. It's not just like any 3D model guy either. It's someone that Adam kind of knew, and he's one of the 3D modelers for the Sky Oblivion mod that is being worked on. I don't know if you guys are very video game savvy, but the idea is that they're remaking Oblivion in the Skyrim, engine, I guess. I'm not good with words. But taking, you know, Skyrim mechanics and remaking Oblivion in it, and they are redoing a lot of the 3D assets for that project. So it's kind of cool, you know, you get one of these. So I'll give you a like basic idea. This is not the color that we're gonna be printing it in. We're using a 3D printer to get these done, obviously. We're gonna have them printed in silver for the official, but this is the test that was successful. And it's kind of like a Siddharth statue, with him and the sword being plunged into a plaque with his name. So we'll have this in silver, and then, yeah, that's a fun little thing to get, huh? We had a lot of issues trying to print this 3D model, though. It took a long time to get this to work, because this was not made to be supportless. I know that you guys are probably not very 3D model savvy, but you can't, like, it's kind of hard to explain. The basic idea is the nozzle is like just printing up when it 3D prints something. So if you have overhang, as the 3D model is printing something, it won't be able to print the overhang because it'll just print on nothing, whereas everything else is like supported on something. So you need to also print it with supports to keep it held up while it's printing, etc., etc. I know, you don't care. I know, I'm bad at explaining it, and also, you don't care. What's important is that we managed to get it to successfully print. We have a silver one that's downstairs right now that was successfully printed, so I'll post that. But I don't want to take it off the plate, because I'm worried I'll mess something up. I'll have Adam take care of that when he's ready. And then I'll take a nice picture of it. I'll post that on the campaign, or I'll post that on Twitter, and I'll show you guys what the official version is going to look like. In addition, we also got this Ichabod bust tier. Now this was made with a mold, I believe, and it's all resin and painted. And you're gonna be surprised to hear, but like, it's actually Alex Lopez who was able to get me these. He is the artist for Sonic City Witch. And as it turns out, he's a man of many skills, because he also did some sculpting, and he knows how to use like his sculptures to make a mold out of it, and then, you know, make it into a resin figure like this. Or bust, I guess I should say. And these look really cool. He had his friend paint them, I believe. But they turned out looking quite good. They look quite excellent. Apparently he was having like issues with the bangs because they're kind of thin, you know, thin hang-in parts, so some of them snapped off. But hopefully when they're ready, he'll have them mailed over to me, and I'll have them mailed over to you. But that's why they're limited. They're limited because, you know, some of them you kind of expect to break when you're working with some thin pieces and whatnot. And obviously I want to keep one for myself because they're quite nice. But yeah, so I had talked about having figures on a campaign. It's one of my like top things that I like getting merch with. I like posters and I like figures. Those are the top two things when it comes to merch that I would actually like to buy. Oh, I also like keychains. I guess. Although my purse is kind of crowded with keychains right now. I'm gonna need 2 purses so I can get all my keychains that I like. And speaking of keychains, that's actually one of the stretch goals. So just like if we get over 1,000 funded, if we get 6K, then we get free keychains for all the backers. Now these are keychains that we were going to have made for the Burning Star website regardless. We ordered all like the actual chain parts of it. It's a little bit of a bitch to like get it on there, but it works. And yes, these are also 3D printed. We're getting a lot of use out of that 3D printer, let me tell you that much. But yeah, if we get like a good bit of money, I'll reward the backers and you can just have them for free. Because that's the way stretch goals should be. And then we get into the much bigger goals, right? Trading cards would be pretty exciting because there's definitely a lot of cool characters. I'm not nearly that big on trading cards, but I know other people that are. So I haven't done trading cards for other campaigns, but if you're into trading cards, I'll get them done for you. Alright, I'll go back to reading chat. Woo! Reaper launch party! Hey, Renee. Hey, Fresher Luke. Congrats on not giving up on Reaper. I hope it takes off. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah. Reaper! I especially like the base with Reaper on it. Oh, yeah. It looks really good. They did a great job with that bust. And it also really does help make the campaign a little special. Original art piece, as you can imagine, sold out immediately. I know the exact guy who bought it too, of course I do. He always goes for the highest tier. But yeah, what else? Oh, the sword bookmarks. Some people were excited about this, so we were able to fashion bookmarks that kind of look like the cursed sword that he's holding on the cover there. So isn't that neat? It's gonna be like the same silver that we were gonna print Siddharth with, so we're gonna need a lot of silver filament, as you can imagine. But we ordered a lot, so we're prepared. especially when we have a lot of failed prints of Siddharth. We gotta need a lot of silver. But yeah, and the special thing that I'm also doing, and this is just kind of a little something extra to add a little bit more spice, a little bit more specialness to the campaign in general, I added golden bookmarks, but there's only 3. There's only 3, and they're just put in the packages randomly, and whoever gets the golden bookmark, you can redeem it and get a free sketch card from me. Yeah, you can just commission me to draw whatever you'd like on a sketch card, and I'll mail that to you. Because you won! Yay! Is that legal on Indiegogo? I don't know if that qualifies as gambling. It's an extra thing. It's just a free extra thing. I'm not asking you to buy 3 packages to increase your chances of winning. I just thought it was a neat little extra thing to throw in there. You can get excited because you got the gold bookmark, you know? And you can be like, yay! Failed? Show us the worst one? Do you want to see what a failed print looks like? Oh boy. Oh boy. I can go find you a failed print if you really want to see it. So this one is my favorite, because it kind of looks like an eldritch horror is coming up from a portal, you know? And it's just like destroying poor Siddharth there. Yeah, so, it's not good to fail 3D printing. Failed prints tend to look like modern art. Well said, yes. It's a lot of stringiness going on, so I won't keep it at my desk for too long. But yes, things can go wrong, and that's why you typically want to work with a supportless model. Because the more support something has, the more it'll fail. And we are working with a lot of supports to get Siddharth to print properly. But it is worth it, because he does look quite grand. And I think it's a very special tier that people will be happy to get. So, there you go. Main bad guy in Reaper 2. Yeah, it's just this eldritch horror coming up from the void. That's exactly what it is. Send the failed prints as a bonus item. I don't think anyone would want those. Although some of them are funny, because some of them, it like, looks about right, except he has no arms, right? But everything else looks okay. So it makes me think of, like, the Monty Python skit. You know, 'tis only a scratch, right? So part of me thought maybe it would be funny to, like, sell those under, like, completely different context, where I try to convince people, oh no, it's supposed to have no arms. It's a Monty Python joke. Yeah. Different context. Black Knight always triumphs, yeah, right. You know exactly what I mean. But yeah, for the most part, usually failed prints kind of just gotta go in the trash. It would be, like, ideal if you had a way to recycle the failed prints into more filament that you could just load in the machine again. But I imagine that would not be a very safe machine to just have around the house, and it'd probably be quite expensive. Or, I mean, I guess you just put it all in a... Nah, not safe. Anyway. There's a huge prototype figure collecting scene. Also, underground cheese exchange. Well, alright. Melts it back into ropes. Well, like, the filaments need to be spools, because you feed it in through there, so it needs to be a spool of string. Otherwise, it won't feed back into the printer. But it is difficult. In general, having melting plastic around you is not exactly, the safest, because it's releasing chemicals into the air, basically. And, you breathe it in, and it's not so good. Hey, Maverick. Ordered a signed copy, looking forward to it. I'm so glad. I really hope that everyone who has ordered a copy enjoys it. I guess I should be posting into chat every now and then, huh? Well, talk to you later. We'll see you, Matthew. And melty plastic coming soon. Yeah, there you go. One of my friends had a 3D printer, but I never saw it in action. Yeah, we thought about recording a Sid Hearth printing for, like, promotion on the campaign. But given that it has so many supports surrounding it now, I'm not really sure if you can even tell that it is Sid Hearth when it prints on the bed. So maybe that's not as good of an idea as we originally thought. But it was a good idea. I loved the trailer. Yes. Thank you. I really did have to rush that this morning. Originally I was like, oh, maybe I should do like a cool animated thing. But then I opened up my wallet and then like moths flew out. And I was like, oh no, that's probably not gonna work. And I procrastinated on that trailer so much because it was just like stressful. But I finally just like put it all together in the morning. And the music was really good. That's actually music from Skyrim, fun fact. Or actually, it's not from Skyrim. It's a guy's cover of music from Skyrim. Yes. But don't worry, I had permission to use it, so. In my country, it is very expensive to print 3D figures. In America, it's cheaper, expensive. So, the printer itself is, a couple hundred, give or take, whichever one you get. You can get cheaper ones for sure. And then the spools are usually $30 to $40 per spool, but you do get a lot of prints from each spool. So what we usually do to figure out, like, price-wise how much each of it costs is we weigh it to see, like, how many ounces or grams from that spool it actually is, and then divide up the cost of how much we spent on that spool. And then we can figure out how much it actually costs to make. And then however much we should sell it for. And as far as, like, the actual 3D printer cost itself, I mean, the first 3D printer Adam got, he would print toys and fidgets on it quite a lot. And after a while, it kind of just paid for itself because they would sell so good. So, like, people would see the toys and just eyes glued to it. Same thing with the fidgets. We'd sell them to, like, general stores and stuff like that, and they sell pretty good. So, there's that. Ooh, yep. Will you be offering your original art again on the campaign? Interesting question. I mean, yeah, I guess I only had one piece, and it sold, like, almost immediately as soon as I put out the emails. that was a whole other stress ball this morning. Because I know what you're thinking. DanFan, why did you use your Gmail? Don't you have like an email for your website? Why didn't you just use that? Ugh, it's a whole headache. It's a whole headache. I use Gmail because Gmail is the one that works when it comes to sending out mass emails. Honest to good, man. I was trying to get the darn Fluent Forms to work, and it just would not import the email addresses. I don't know why. Honestly, I'm not a techie person. I don't know why it didn't work, but that's why I used Gmail. It's because I know that Gmail works. But anyway, yeah, so obviously the gold swords, free art. And that's always, like, fun, because it's, like, an extra special something that you could get in the mail. The actual one-of-the-kind bundle was something that I wanted to make big and special. Actually, I can get the art piece. I also showed it on one of my videos. So this is Bristol board that I used to use for drawing the comics way back, but haven't been using it for that purpose anymore because I've basically just switched to digital, as most people do through time. I still have to cut it because I got a guide to go on there, but it turned out pretty good. I might argue that before I put in all this black in the background, it looked a little bit better, but it still looks fine. It still looks good. I'm not hating on myself, I swear. But yeah, so this was kind of meant to be a little bit extra special or spectacular, much bigger than the other original art pieces that I usually put up on the website. Because I'm always putting up original art on the website. Especially art from Alex, if you guys want to check out his art. That's on the website, you know? So I might do more, I probably will do more Reaper art in the future. It's not on a list of priorities right now, because I have to finish the actual book. I don't have that many pages left to do, though. I believe I only have 32 or 30 pages of the main story to do. There's like a 2-page, or was it a 3-page? It's like a 2 or 3-page preview of the next book, which I wanted to include at the end of Reaper Book 1. When I did actually include that, Adam, who was beta reading for me, he said, "Oh man, that's a good idea to do that preview, because that makes me way more interested in Book 2. So I hope that I get the same reaction from everybody who backs the campaign. When they read through the book, they get to the end and they're like, wow, this is going to be an interesting series. And then you turn the page and you get the preview of the next book, and then you're like, oh, what is this? You know, what's going on there? That's something a little bit different. Saw the campaign, the second email came, and in like a few minutes, the one-of-the-kind bundle was already bought. Oh yeah. Yeah, that guy is super quick. He's super quick. I guess I should have put more than one original art piece available, because my goodness, he got there fast. What do you use to ink? Not as good of products as I probably should, but so I was using these Copic. They're kind of almost all dead yet. Almost. Some of the thinner ones are still good, but the main one that I liked using is pretty dead. It's unfortunate, I'd like to pick up those G pens at some point, because I think those would be really fun to try using. I have, like, it's kind of funny, because I wanted, like, a fountain pen, because I thought, ooh, that would be neat to write with. And then I got this for Christmas from my mother. Looks cool, right? Tragically, it's not very good for drawing. I wanted it to be good. I really, really wanted it to be good for drawing, but it's really, really messy. And it doesn't really feel like it's adding anything. You know, I feel like the stroke is really inconsistent. It's more for writing when it doesn't really matter. But it's still nice. It's still nice. I'd like to sign a comic with it, even if I wouldn't draw with it. But it'd be cool to get, like, G pens that are for drawing. And you can find them at, obviously, art stores, but at those weeb stores as well. It's like where they're selling all the stuff from Japan. And oh, hey, all the best with the launch. Thank you. Yeah, a lot of those nib pens are better for calligraphy. You got that right. But it was interesting to try. I did a free-run piece with that pen that didn't actually look that bad, you know, considering that it was done with a pen that you're not supposed to draw with. But it did look very, like, K-On-ish. It didn't look like it was in the actual free-run style. So, you know, not that bad, but not ideal. Not peak Dan Fan drawing, exactly. So, yeah, and the poster, so cool. I know I posted about it last year, way before we launched, but I still just awe over this poster, because it's exactly that feeling of epicness that I really wanted. Just that like mystery and the what's the word I'm looking for? It's like the gloominess. And the one critique I would have is that it might not be clear that he's casting the lightning from his staff. Because, you know, it's not a very noticeable glow. It's like very, very tiny. I think it'll be a lot more clear when the poster is like big and in your hands, of course. But yes, this is kind of like the untold part of the story. It's like of Siddharth's party, because yes, he did have like an adventuring party with him. It wasn't just him alone, but it's like Siddharth's party retreating from the cursed castle, and in order to make sure that no one else could go there, or nothing else could follow them out, the wizard destroys the bridges leading to it. And that's kind of part of the atmosphere behind why it's kind of like on this weird mountain that has no real connecting parts to it. It's because it's been destroyed, man. That's like, ooh, spooky. Yeah, it's great. I would have linked to Arthur's Twitter, but it looks like he's not on Twitter anymore. I'm not really sure where else to find him, to be honest. But he was great. He did a really good job. And I'm really happy with it. So, if you do ever find this guy, I'd recommend him for a follow. I wish I could have found him, because I linked Squishy Bananas, like, Twitter here. But I couldn't link Arthur's because I didn't know where he was, you know. I would have, though. I really would have if I knew. But yeah, so that's really fun. Out of all, like, the stretch goal options, I don't know if you guys are interested in any of, like, the options here. First being the keychains. That's something easy because we already, like, have those made. But then we have stickers. I know I heard somebody say that they absolutely loved stickers. And I thought, yeah, what the heck? I could make a sticker. That's incredibly easy to design some stickers, right? And then trading cards, because I mentioned before, some people really get into trading cards. So I could print like a couple of those. Fresher Luke did something really interesting with Forsaken Gods, where he had them themed like tarot cards. I think I would probably theme mine more like Magic the Gathering-ish. Not to name drop WotC, but you know, something that leans into the fact that it's all like fantasy, adventuring, and war and whatnot. A lot of people like enamel pins. I don't know what's involved in making them though. You know, I don't either. I see those a lot at conventions. I just assume because they're made of like metal that they're probably more money. I mean, you know, speaking from our perspective, we make everything in plastic right now. All the fun things are 3D printed, the keychains, the Sid Hearth. The Vera standees are acrylic, of course. We ordered those from a company. I do wonder what goes into making those from scratch, though. Probably not a lot. If we're being honest here, it's probably not that hard to make an acrylic standee. We figured out 3D printing. We could probably figure that out. I know, I sound quite cocky, but that art is the old school fantasy game style. Love it. Oh yeah, it's gorgeous. Really sells the idea that the castle is cursed. Right. That's the idea. That is the idea. Thank you. Why? Stupid question. Is Ichabod a tits or ass man? Do I really have to answer? I feel like I'd probably say tits. I'd probably say he's a tits man. Although, you know, he's still kind of broken up over losing his first love. So he's not really thinking of romance right now. At least not at the start of where book 1 is. That actually was my one regret with book 1. You know what it was? Not enough girls. Not enough girls in book 1. It's true. That's a mistake on my part, because if I don't have pretty girls, I mean, like, I got her, right? But she dies. She dies, so she's gone now, right? There's Ginger. She's not dead, but she is also a child. And then there's Ichabod's, like, girlfriend from when he was a child, who, yeah, once again, not going back there. So, you know, I do correct this in future books. There will be, obviously, a female character in the adventuring party when they're all together. Because I do have... There's going to be more than one, really, when everyone's together. But I do have plans for that. It's just, I'm taking it slow. I'd like to introduce each of the party members kind of in their own book, you know? Do it bit by bit so we can really focus and, what's the word I'm looking for? Just really take in one character and get to understand them as much as possible. So, that is kind of what a lot of manga likes to do. or what a lot of anime, I guess I should say, likes to do, is focus an entire episode or entire chapter on one character. Sometimes just an entire arc on one character. But I kind of want to do like book by book, focusing on one character, getting to know them before they actually join the party, and having you, the audience, understand why they're joining the party, because it's not just random, you know? It's not just because I want them all to be in an adventuring party together. It's because their fates are intertwined, because they have goals that they can achieve together, and that they're friends, and, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, Ichabod is a leg man. Everyone knows that. Oh, yeah, you got me. Hey, Dan Fan, I backed the campaign earlier. Can't wait to read it. I'm so glad that you backed the campaign and that you're excited to read this book. Obviously, some of you who are looking at this campaign, you already know there's a lot of pages posted on Subscribestar that are way, way ahead of time, right? And those are all the pages that I have done, sort of. Obviously, I'm going to go back and edit them, and they have to go through beta readers to get their opinions on certain things and, you know, make it look really clean for the official version. But a lot of people who are on the fan club already kind of know where the story is going and what is currently happening. Some people are fully updated. But do your best not to spoil anything, I guess is what I'm saying. I'll try to save the ending for the actual printed books. I like the idea of continuing to post previews of the pages on Subscribestar. I would like to continue doing that, but I do also kind of want to hold back a little bit to make sure you're not too far ahead of everybody else, and make sure that the books are coming out hopefully in a timely fashion. But yeah. And don't give him 5 love interests, each one with a different body or personality type. Hashtag say no to harem. Oh yeah. Well, if you know anything about me, you know that I don't really like harems. They can be quite exhausting. It's very rare that I find them actually funny. But most of the time, it's just kind of like scummy, for lack of a better term. Adam's opinion on them is a little bit different than mine. He's like, harem is fine so long as they're like all in the relationship. He really hates the like waiting around for him to pick a girl type of harem. I'm not really into any type of harem, really. He also finds it very interesting, the idea of one girl, but she splits herself up into multiple different bodies. So he's not technically cheating by dating multiple women. And I'm looking at him and I'm thinking to myself, you're really going through hoops to get that harem working and still wholesome, aren't you? It's okay. I'm not into harem. I won't try to make you feel bad about being into harems, but it's not my thing. I'm never going to like it. I'm always going to be like, boo. It's just not for me. If you ever see me reviewing a manga and it's a harem, just assume that it's a bad review. Before you even click on it, just assume, oh yeah, she probably hates this. And it's probably true. I'm sorry. That's just kind of how it goes. But you know. That panel that says his heart was weak, the enemy is terrifying, good job, great powerful artwork. Thank you so much. Man, it takes a lot to really build yourself up when it comes to being confident in your artwork. I'm very surprised and pleased to hear people saying that the art looks good for Reaper, because I was worried that it was still too cartoonish. You know, I kind of like a little bit of exaggeration in my art style, and so I'm always going to kind of lean in a direction of making it a little bit more exaggerated. I just hope that I don't take it too far to the point where people can't take the comic seriously. And that's kind of a point of insecurity for me. Horizon Quest, I still kind of like how Horizon Quest turned out. I do wonder, though, could I have done this better? Maybe I could have. I mean, a lot of stuff that I didn't know when I was doing Horizon Quest, I was experimenting with and implementing with on Reaper. And I think a lot of the panels turned out really good in Reaper because I was taking these extra steps to find new ways of achieving what I was going for, especially with a lot of the action scenes. I mean, like, the action pages that I'm showing on the campaign page, a lot of them are old. Like, this fight with the monster is kind of an old action page. And it's fine. For what it is, it's fine. But it's nothing compared to, like, more later action pages like these. I just wish that I could show more of them, because I don't want to spoil too much, and when he goes to the castle, that's where, like, most of the story, the actual, like, important story is happening. I mean, this fight is fine, but I did have some people be like, I don't understand what's going on, I don't understand that he's using magic in these parts over here. I do like this shot. It is a little bit jarring, right? It's a jarring cut from this, but I like the shot, so I kept it. It's my guilty pleasure. Just a reminder, even I have my weak points, my guilty pleasures that I absolutely must. I only read the first fan club preview because I knew I was going to buy it and didn't want to spoil it for myself. I see, you want to read it all in one sitting. When I was doing the fan club previews, when I was posting them every month, like I've been doing, the way I figured it was kind of like being subscribed to Shonen Jump Plus, or one of those manga apps where you get updates per chapter. Because even though I'm not dividing them into chapters yet, I do kind of know where the divisions are going to be. But instead of posting an entire chapter before I even divided it up, I just was posting pages that I felt like go to a good stopping point. But they're kind of equivalent to what you see in a lot of the shonen, page lengthwise, what you see in a lot of these Shonen Jump updates. So I figured people who like staying updated on manga would probably enjoy staying updated on Reaper by joining the fan club. That was the thought, anyway. And like manga, when you enjoy it, you also hopefully buy the physical copy or the merch. I'll try to get more merch in the future, but hey, we got a Sid Hearth, we got a bust, we got original art. We'll have keychains in the future, so look forward to that. Harem, 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 harem. No! Do you find it difficult to draw on paper, or for you is better draw on PC? Which is more difficult for you? So the issue with drawing on paper is not so much that it's difficult, because it's all like the same like motor skill. It's all the same memory of how to draw the characters. The issue is sometimes you just aren't able to control your hand as much as you'd like, and sometimes you just make a mistake. Well, there's no big mistake when you're on digital because you can always fix the mistake. It's much more difficult to fix a mistake when you're drawing on physical media because you can't just undo that. So it's a little bit nerve-wracking because if you mess up, you either need to get the white out or you need to start from scratch. So is it difficult? Maybe no. I think it's about the same amount of difficulty. It's just makes me very nervous to draw traditionally. And because I'm able to fix a lot of mistakes, I'd like to keep on doing digital to be able to get it looking better and better without having to always be super nervous about making more mistakes. Essentially, have you seen the anime Metallic Rogue? I haven't. If I see it, I might recognize it. Is it an old one? Metallic Rogue. Oh, you know, I have not seen this before. It's new, that's why. Okay. Well, maybe I'll have to check it out. Is this like a Gundam thing? I like Gundam stuff. And your art has gotten better, so feel proud of your improvements. Thank you. I appreciate it. I do. Did you hear about the dumb censorship of a character like Tifa? Sweet Baby Incorporated. If you haven't talked about it yet, you can skip if I'm too off topic. I feel like Tifa is always kind of getting censored, so need to specify, I guess. Every time I hear about Tifa, it's usually something about her tits getting smaller or something. I don't know about Sweet Baby Incorporated, so unfortunately I can't really weigh in on that topic. I haven't heard about it, or if I have, I don't know, it just didn't trigger my memory. I know what you mean. For some reason, some people say cartoonish equals for kids equals lacks depth, but it's just not true. Well, I also kind of worry that if my art does look like it's for kids, I don't want, you know, there's certain things that I do not want kids to pick up. I've definitely seen other comics out there, especially on stuff like Webtoon, where it looks like it's for kids and it has kind of a goofy plot that feels like it's for kids, but then they decide that it's for adults and it has a lot of adult humor in there. And you know, I would hate for me to be one of those people that it's like, oh no, I didn't mean it. So I lean a little bit more on like the anime kind of inspired stuff, and hopefully I attract the crowd of people who kind of recognize a similar style and they know kind of what to expect, you know? You should have cartooning exaggeration. Yeah, I mean, like, I will always lean in the direction of making something more exaggerated because it's something I really enjoy doing. It's probably what I enjoy drawing most is facial expressions. That is top tier for me. And as I'm like moving forward with this kind of, it's not a, I don't know if I would call it a new style, but it's a more polished style. It's more proportionally accurate, I guess I would say, with Reaper. And I can show you probably on my Instagram if you'd like to see my progression here. So obviously post a bunch of anime warm-up sketches because that is kind of the direction where I'm going with a lot of my new art, right? I still like drawing the expressions, but you can see it a lot with, there's the Horizon Quest art style. It's a little bit different, not completely different, but a little bit different from Reaper. And oh, you especially see it in It's Not Like Getting a Job Will Kill You. I did like some crazy expressions here, and I had so much fun doing those expressions. So I always lean in that direction. These faces just give me genuine joy. It's another reason why I should do another comedy comic at some point, so I can do crazy faces like these again. But for now, we gotta start up our series, right? It's an important series, and I do love making it, especially because I'm a big fantasy fan, you know? Oh yeah, so you have to find a balance between something for adults or kid. Yes, exactly. I want people to be able to see visually, like if, you know, I know that people who like anime, who like manga, would be probably the primary audience for this, since it's very inspired from those types of works. So part of the reason why I lean in the anime style, I add my own flair to it. It's not a complete copy-paste, but part of the reason why I'm leaning into that style is because I want people to visually be able to see that this comic is for an audience like them. It's for weebs by weebs, if that makes sense. Yeah, the 3 cigars. In the next panel, he like spits them out, and they're like bullets that like crash through the fish tank and kill the fish. That was a really fun comic to work on. That's actually like polling as everybody's favorite comic that I've worked on so far. It's Not Like Getting a Job Will Kill You. It was very fun, I'll give it that. It's a fun comic, and sometimes people just want something that feels fun. So I gotta make more fun stuff. It's basically the takeaway from this. Reaper's gonna be a little bit moody, but it's gonna be very nice. I finally get to do like a fantasy series, and if I was gonna do any series, it had to be a fantasy. It had to be. I know that I've probably talked about it on stream before. I'm a big Dark Souls fan. I know. It's quite stunning and brave. Yeah, I bet you could have never figured that out by like the atmosphere of Reaper, or the fact that they, take people's souls and eat them for power. I bet you would have never guessed that Dark Souls was an inspiration for that. To be fair, soul reaping is a genre. It is done by a lot of different comics and other media and books that they have a plot that the characters are reaping souls. It's kind of like it's a genre. So it's not completely a knockoff of anything, really. It's just kind of my spin on this idea of having this kind of these lands that are lordless. They're not being governed by anybody right now. So you have people breaking the law, and there's no royal knights there to really stop them. It's really just a matter of villages and towns protecting their own, and that's the only way that you maintain any order. But when you have people that aren't really hurting the living people, right? Instead, they're collecting souls of the dead and selling them or consuming them. That's not legal in this country, but they're able to do it. Nobody's really stopping them. It doesn't directly interfere with anybody else, so that's kind of how he's kind of, wiggled his way into this work, even though he kind of knows it's not good work. Believe it or not, eating someone's soul is not a very nice thing to do. I know. Crazy. Your art is definitely more anime looking than mine, that's for sure. I try to draw anime, I can't. I've been definitely doing some anime studies, which is what you basically are seeing when I do those sketches for warm-up practice. Is I'm looking at a picture or an art style from an anime, and then I'm trying to draw something original while taking inspiration from that reference. So, like the last one I did, I can go back to Instagram and just share that again. I'm not even on Instagram most of the time. Why do I still have this account? So, example. This was, I was looking at a reference from Your Lie in April. And you can kind of tell that it's kind of inspired from the Your Lie in April style because of the eyes and like the lips and whatnot. And I just went fucking crazy with the hair. I like it though. I really like thick, windy hair, you know? Gotta draw more characters like that. I like drawing hair. And then Frieren, right? I was actually looking at a picture of Frieren when I drew this, and then I just drew her in a comfy sweater because I was like, man, I'm cold. I wish I had a comfy sweater. But yeah, so those are like just kind of warm-up sketches that I do to practice drawing in a more anime-like style. And eventually, you know, you find a certain type of way of drawing something that you really latch onto and that you really enjoy drawing that way, and then you stick with it. But you kind of experiment until you find that thing. So, we're already over an hour into the stream. I guess I should do like the refresh thing, right? Ayo, 32 backers! Oh, I should have been refreshing a while ago, huh? That's awesome. We're doing great. The first day, we already got 32 backers. We're killing it. So, I'm putting this up for the 45 days. Yeah, it says it right there, so I'll never forget. A little bit over a month we'll be funding this. It'll also be in demand. That's what it's called. I've never used in demand before. I don't think, anyway. Yeah, I don't think I've ever used in demand before. I think this will be the first campaign that I use in demand. Just in case people find it on Indiegogo, even when it's already available on the website. I'll just leave it up for whoever missed the main campaign and wants to keep backing, right? And it's the first campaign where we're shipping worldwide, which is a big deal, of course, because we have worldwide shipping now on the website. We actually started that, I think it was like at the end of last year or the beginning of this year. All the months are just blending together, man. Oh, I've been working on this comic for so long. But yeah, so we're doing worldwide shipping now. So a lot of people who haven't been able to get the comics because they live overseas, now you can. So that's also something special about this campaign and about Burning Star in general. The fact that we're expanding a little bit. I feel a little bit more confident with the shipping process. So I think I can make it work. Yes, indeed. Alrighty. But now it's almost midnight. I don't know what time it is for you guys, what time zone you guys are tuning in on, but we're like 15 minutes to midnight. And I don't know if you guys have any questions regarding the campaign. Definitely let me know if you do. Another fun thing that I want to do for the book, right? I kind of mentioned that it's coming over to over 100 pages of stories and extras. Fool, what are the extras, you might be thinking? So I wanted to do a few pages in the back of the book to do a map. What I want to actually do is, as the main characters in the future are journeying through the country, and maybe outside of the country, ooh, right? You get to see their progress visually on a map, like where they are, where they went, and then through every book, the map would grow. That's the idea, anyway. I thought that would be really cool. Every book, like, the map is just growing, and you see more and more of the world that they live in. But obviously, this is also assuming that it's gonna be a successful series, and I do hope that it is. It's very difficult to sell people on a series, because it's a lot of commitment to get, especially when it's ongoing, right? I kind of wanted every book of Reaper to be a step forward in the main story, while also simultaneously being like its own contained story. Being like its own side story that gives you one step closer to the main story, the main ending, the main arc of what the main characters are trying to achieve. So, I don't think there's not gonna be a Reaper book that you get and you're like, oh man, this is garbage, this is filler, nothing happens, because I empathize with that when I get, like, as a birthday present, a volume of the latest, One Piece manga or something, and it's just a filler manga. Nothing actually important happens in it, That's always the most frustrating thing, when you're just watching Luffy and friends run for chapters and chapters and chapters and chapters. We're not gonna do that. Not gonna do that. We don't need to do that. No. Absolutely not. But the other extras that I was thinking of having was a Q&A. Yeah, some people might be familiar with, like, manga SBSs, where you ask the author questions about the world or the characters, and without really revealing too much, they kind of answer your questions to what is usually satisfactory and kind of piques your curiosity. So I would like to open up some sort of place where people can, or maybe on social media, I just have you guys use a hashtag where you can just ask questions about the comic, about the series, stuff that you want to know. You already know a little bit about it because I gave the free previews, right? I gave the first super early draft preview on Manga Plus. It's not on Manga Plus anymore. I'm sorry, it's not on there anymore. But then I also, additionally, on BurningstarComics.net, have the 2024 previews, and I included another preview of Reaper in there. So you can still see a Reaper preview and get a general idea of what we're working with the story, and get a general idea of the main character and what his goal is in the first book. And then you can ask your questions from there. Ask simple questions like, what is Ichabod's favorite food? Har har har. Nudge nudge. Is Ichabod a tits or ass man? I already answered that question, so I don't need to put that in the book. Yeah, right? I thought that would be interesting. That was my thought anyway. It could be like, you know, kind of like an SBS Q&A after section, after the comic, after the preview of volume 2. You keep turning the page and then there's more content, there's more you can learn about the world, you know? It's awesome. It's good stuff. It's 10 out of 10 stuff right there. Yet a comic, you get a preview of the next book, you get a map of the world, right? And then also a Q&A. That's extra cool. That's what I think anyway. I would be pumped to back this series if it wasn't my series. But at the end of the day, all us creators can do is do what we would have liked to see. I really like dark fantasy. I like more classic fantasy where it's not an isekai. And you don't get too many of those these days, it feels like. Or at least in terms of anime, there's a lot of isekais being pumped out. And you have Frieren, and Frieren is wonderful. Frieren is another big source of new inspiration that I can take from because it's so good. So I'm really grateful that there's more new fantasy out there that I can actually be happy with. But we're well past the 1 hour mark, so I will have to say goodnight to everybody. Maybe I'll do one more refresh, but I don't think there's gonna be a... Oh, there's one more backer. Nice, 33 backers. So thanks for the little launch party. We'll have more streams to promote the campaign, as you can imagine. On the gaming streams, what we're doing is we've been playing Elden Ring, and I made a build that's supposed to be all of the abilities that we see Ichabod use in the comics. And so I'm playing Elden Ring as the main character, as Ichabod. So that's fun. If you're into that, you can watch the gaming streams. We'll keep doing that until I'm too frustrated to continue, because a dagger build is very difficult in Elden Ring. But I'm making it work to the best of my abilities. And we'll have more streams on this channel too. So if you just like these relaxed game fan streams, no worries. I'll be back for more. Until then, guys, spread the good word of my first series campaign, and wish me luck, because I'm gonna need it for sure. Thank you, everyone, and good night.